Hey everybody, I'm Dustin.
And I'm Steven Keller.
This is Two Dudes MTG.
What's up, everybody? It's been a while since you guys have seen us.
Yeah, we kind of had a little hiatus there for a bit, but
For the most part, our equipment sucked, and we decided that, hey, if we're actually going to do this, we need to pick up a few better things. So we still got the same camera, but we worked it out a little bit better. New microphone and some different recording equipment. So hopefully these things will start turning out and be a little bit better. I should also remember to look at the camera.
yeah, and we're gonna drink some Jameson and stuff, if that's all right with you guys.
Captain Morgan White and pineapple? I don't care. This is party. I'm on vacation.
He's a basic bitch.
Vacation! Vacation!
All right, so guys, we got a couple things to talk about. Biggest news right now is Mark Rosewater's big Metamorphosis 2.0 announcement, and basically, if you haven't heard yet, there's a couple things going to be changing in standard, and it's going to change the way the game is currently. He wrote the original Metamorphosis article about 2 years ago
Something
or so.
like that.
Maybe a year. I don't know. Whenever they took core sets away and started doing the whole block changing thing last time. So this is 2.0, so this is their revamping of the current standard formats. So the biggest thing, we'll go by here subject by subject and talk about them. So first thing, no more small sets.
4 sets a year. That's awesome. I'm really hoping for sets that are 350 to 500 cards a piece. That way, I'm assuming that should work out, because when you take the two set, even the 2 block sets were between 400 and 500 cards total. Well, really between 500 and 600 cards total.
Yeah.
So if we can get one good set every 3 months, that's even 500 cards, a thousand new cards a year would be pretty ideal. And or not 1,000, 2,000 cards a year. I'm bad at math. I've already started tonight.
So yeah, I agree with you. I'm wondering a couple things about that. One is, are we going to get charged more for booster boxes?
I don't think we're actually going to get charged more. I don't think we'll get charged more out of the fact that people are going to want to buy more than one box, because if the sets are bigger, there's going to be more. They have to put more rares into a bigger set.
Correct.
And there will be less of a chance, because you have your super good stuff, and then you have your chode.
Right.
You're always going to have your chunk of chode that nobody's just going to like. There's usually about 5 to 7 cards rares per set that are really, really used and played, and that's out of the mythics and the rares. So what I'm assuming is we'll go up to 8 to 10, maybe 11, 12 cards per set that are actually very standard playable and valuable.
Yeah. So I mean, based on that would be the way to go, because I mean, you're still allowing people to want to chase after those particular rares and buy the packs. I see where you're going from.
And if there's a bigger set, people are going to have to buy more product to pull the good stuff out of the set and actually get it into circulation.
And I think it might value the cards a little higher too.
Very possibly, because you'll have to chase a little bit harder, and that's okay.
But the stores will also have to buy more.
Exactly.
And
so
have less of the actual good shit to offer.
Yeah. Well, it's also a possibility that you're going to see the chode boxes in the back of your store that they don't even care if you sit there and flip through without them looking at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah. There's going to be, instead of the 2 or 3 boxes, there's going to be the 3 or 4 of the 5 slot boxes that are just bullshit rares. We don't care. Go through it.
Go for it.
But at the same time, it brings up a hopefulness that with a bigger set, the draft sets will get better, and we're fixing to get into that.
Yes.
The draft sets will get better, and hopefully everything will just create a better playing field. Like more
for limited.
Yeah. For limited and standard. With a bigger set comes bigger possibilities.
I think the lure is he mentions in the article about one of the main reasons why they wanted to do it was for a lore aspect, to just say that they can actually focus on one story and tell the complete story, and then if they want to stay on that plane, they're not obligated to switch planes.
Yeah, they can actually
when it comes to time to make the
they
new
could
set.
actually complete a storyline and take their time on it instead of hashing things out, making a half-assed janky storyline that doesn't fully make sense.
Right, and or it seems like or it seems like there's more to do. I think one of the biggest things is like some of these sets have really good mechanics.
Yes, very much.
And
like
you just kind of get left there with like these really good mechanics that you never really get fully explored.
Right, like we thought Madness was going to be a super big thing when it came back.
Right,
we thought it was going to be, and there is some stuff. Sweet. What did we get? Fiery Temper, and that's right. Some people like to do like a red black Alms of the Vein Fiery Temper, but that's all you're really madnessing out.
Yeah,
you like the cards that discard cards ended up being the better cards.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're right. We get stuck with all these like really good mechanics that can do a lot of really good stuff.
And I really feel like if they change sets too, that makes you, or I'm sorry, if they change planes, that makes you more obligated to want to go to new mechanics and do new things. Whereas if you're still on the same plane, some of the same mechanics should still be readily available. That might not be the case. They might not do that. Yeah. They might not carry over with that, but something to think about.
With one set every 3 months, every season, we're going to go to drafting one set at a time. There will be no more 2 packs of this set, 1 pack of the old set, which I think is going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better.
It makes more sense.
It really does, because it's always, like, that 1 pack from the old set never seemed, like, you got some, you had a chance to get something good, Jameson, but it always seemed to just throw kind of a little wrench in whatever idea you were doing, unless you ended up drafting a certain mechanic.
Well, you would end up either drafting a certain mechanic, or whether it be a mechanic or a tribe, or just color combination,
or you just end up with here's the good stuff that I pulled.
It's like, we'll make this 4-color deck.
I got 2 dual color lands. Sure, like, why not? But I think that's going to help out a lot with the limited and the sealed pools too.
Exactly.
It's going to make a lot more sense.
And ultimately, it's going to make you more excited about a set.
It is, because
you have all these subsets. You're like, okay, well, maybe we'll get something in the subset to help this out, help this one thing out. Now you don't have to wait for that.
We never got that. We always looked at a mechanic that comes out in a new set, and it turns into like, what's a really good example? Not exhort, exert's a great mechanic. What? The ally mechanic where you have to tap 2 of them. Like, that seemed like it could be okay.
Right.
And it just never did anything. But we always look at mechanics that come out in a new set and you're like, oh, that's going to be really cool. That's going to be really good. I can't wait for that. And then they just don't print enough cards to make it a viable thing in limited.
And I mean, if you do a big enough set and you make it valuable enough, or make it synergistic enough, it can be in constructed deck.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of what Wizards would want, right? You make this awesome mechanic. Don't you want to see it played at the Pro Tour or something?
Exactly. You want to
see the pros go out there and really play with it and make it awesome.
And hopefully that creates an air of we'll see less decks like Mardu.
Yeah.
Which
is now 4 colors.
Oh yeah, that's true. But it like hopefully we'll see less decks that are just let's jam all the good cards in these colors in a deck and see what it does. And
Let's keep moving on here. The biggest thing, another big thing too about the Metamorphosis 2.0 article is core sets are back.
Summer core sets. That's going to be so good, and they're basing it more towards the newer players. They're trying to make it a better entry level product where there will be about half reprints and about half newer cards.
And Steven, if you noticed in the article, he stated, we want easy to read reprints and easy to understand for new players.
Right. So I'm saying,
I don't know about you, but I think Lightning Bolt's pretty easy to understand.
Why you just tickling. You're just tickling the balls. That's all you're doing over here, Dustin. You know I want to just go 1 red mana for 3 damage in standard. Why are you doing this to me?
I'm just saying, man. It seems like stuff that's probably not going to happen. But a lot of people thought that wasn't going to happen until M11 came out.
Yeah,
or M13 or whatever it was.
That's true. But it also makes me think they're wanting more easy to read cards. That could create a good handful of revised reprints that are just worded different. It still does the same exact thing, but worded better. So we could get a lot of errata text, or not necessarily errata text, but when you look up an old card, now you're going to have to look up the errata text because it's worded better. Yeah. But nonetheless, that could be just.
Well, we already know that Menace is a thing. I mean, that's an evergreen thing. So,
and even in Khans of Tarkir, Menace wasn't a thing yet, but we still had cards. There was the one warrior that basically said whenever he attacks, gives all your other warriors Menace. Yeah. But he was worded, other warriors you control can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures.
Yes.
So we got that wording not that long ago.
It hasn't been that long that Menace has been an evergreen effect or evergreen text.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot more interesting to see what they actually bring back. I mean, I think also too, what that does is it helps the other sets from not having to reprint that shit.
That's very true. Like, we get a lot less reprints in other sets because we got 200 something reprints in the summer.
In the core set, yeah.
And everybody should be happy with that. And I think that also opens up for a lot better options for reprints. We get a lot of other stuff that was like, oh, I can't believe they're reprinting that card. Like,
yeah.
We might see like Thought Seizes and stuff like that again. I think that'd be pretty fun.
About Thought Seize.
Why not? Why not Thought Seize? They already have so many effects that do that. Why not throw that one back in there again?
Yeah.
Bring the value of the card back down. There's a lot of reasons to reprint a card like Thought Seize, but we'll also see cards reprinted like Hero's Downfall would be.
Everybody wants Hero's Downfall.
Give me instant speed killer, Gideon. For the love of God. I actually see Hour of Devastation being a good set to reprint a card such as Hero's Downfall in. Like maybe when we
we just had the Amonkhet Aftermath card that does that.
It does, but we also had what's the stupid Awaken one? We have cards
Ruinous Path. But Ruinous Path will be going out of rotation soon, and with that effect already being printed on a card and it being recent and Amonkhet, you're probably not going to get it again.
Hear me out. There's 2 copies that do basically the same effect in standard right now. One has Awaken, one is just, I think you have to do it from... Is that the side you cast from your graveyard?
No, that's not the side you cast from your
graveyard. Okay, so it does out of your hand at sorcery speed. So when we lose one, we only have one.
Yeah.
You might be right. I don't necessarily see it in Hour of Devastation because we got the one in Amonkhet.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. But with because there's rumors of the death of Gideon.
That would be something.
That would be the card. That would be the moment they go, Hero's Downfall. Now, because
who kills Gideon, or what's the card that kills Gideon? That's I think that's where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Is that what is the effect in the game, or it would have to be a spotlight card.
Yeah, like kind of like Chandra's Ignition, and like the cards from the last core set.
Right. I mean, they do the spotlight cards now, and I think that's really cool that Magic went to do that. It helps the lore. Yeah. All right, we're going to move right along now. All right.
Speaking of Hour of Devastation,
we're going to talk a little bit about Hour of Devastation spoilers, and not a whole lot because by now everybody knows what they are.
These are bad. I don't
And we
like
hate them for the most
He's
part,
gonna
right?
sit here and harp on the board wipe for a little bit, and I'm
just
like,
gonna-
it's terrible.
I'm just going to say...
It's gonna wipe my board. It's gonna win games against me. I'm gonna be pissed off that I lost to a bad card.
yeah, well, I think the card's pretty cool. Destroy all creatures for 3 mana is by far undercosted. Everybody knows that. The downfall with you not being able to untap your lands to your next turn, so you get time to walk for a turn, it's whatever. I mean, the card really shines against hyper aggro decks. There aren't any hyper aggro decks in Standard right now, so it could be a good sideboard card. Maybe Hour of Devastation provides a little bit more for hyper aggro decks to be able to come out and
I do see it
do something.
when you're on the draw against a hyper aggro deck. It's great on turn 3, turn 4, whatever. You know, that seems...
It's really good on turn 6.
Yeah.
With a Planeswalker out.
Yeah.
That's where it's
yeah.
good.
I see that. It's also good with the gods that say, indestructible.
That does stuff too.
Ooh, Jund feels. It'd feel real good to like. Oh no, because your lands don't untap. Well.
Your lands don't untap. That's the thing.
See, that's where I always screw up. But I always played the more aggressive strategies in the first place. So, I want my shit to untap every turn. All right, so let's talk about this Nicol Bolas. I hate this thing.
It's weird.
It's really weird, and people are saying, yeah, it could be playable. But
no, I mean, most people think, for the most part, I think that this is a good card. It is good. I think
for 7 mana, it needs to be winning the game when you bring it in.
Well, it'll 7 damage to an opponent. I mean, that could potentially win you the game.
That's a third of their life total, and now don't get me wrong. People are talking about, you can marvel it out on turn 4, turn 5, and I'm like,
after Ulamog's gone, but you ain't gonna do that until then.
Yeah, seriously, if I marvel and I hit an Ulamog and a Nicol Bolas in hand, Ulamog's hitting the battlefield.
Ulamog all day. I mean, what are you gonna? You gonna put a 1 of this card in your deck, and then you gotta go either 4 color or you gotta change it to what, Crixus, and not play the green. I mean, what do you lose in green?
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah,
so you have to go 4 color if you're going for the deck. If you're going to play Nicol Bolas and Marvel, but at the same time, I don't know that it does enough for what the cost is and the ultimate payoff.
I really don't think it does. The shoot for 7 is great, but you're minus him to 3 at that. He's dead to almost anything that flies.
Yeah.
He's
dead to a lot.
He's dead.
His
dead to
his protection for himself is his +2 ability, where target opponent reveals top cards of his or library until he or she reveals a non-land card. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. So now you have to roll the dice, and you only get, actually, it's flip the coin because it's only 2 cards.
Yeah.
Right? No, exiles the top cards. Okay, until he reveals the non-land card. So you spin the wheel, and you hopefully maybe can hit something that's relevant enough to block to support blocking for your Planeswalker or protecting it in some sort of a way. But
I mean, even it seems like the first thing you do is taking him up 2 when you bring him in, unless you haven't somehow got him on the battlefield without spending any mana. Taking him up 2 is bad. You take him up 1, each opponent exiles 2 cards from his or her hand. Not probably by the time that it comes in, cool.
There's just so many decks right now that's not gonna okay. What happens after that? You take him up 1, he goes to 8.
And then you take him up 2 and hope, or you shoot once or twice, depending on what you feel like doing. But I feel
here's the thing that makes it bad though, is because you have to here's the thing that makes it bad though, because you have to -4, and then what ends up happening is I'm either protecting him the whole entire time he's alive until he's dead and nothing happens, or I'm trying to shoot you in the face when I can, but because it's -4, I have to tick up twice and then maybe hit some. I don't know. It just seems
for 7 mana, I should be doing more than hitting you for 7 damage.
I mean, let's look at Ugin.
Yeah, minus and the board's gone.
He's board wiping right away.
Ugin can win the game himself.
Yeah.
Ugin can easily win the game
Nicol
himself.
Bolas
takes a lot more to win the game himself.
Minus 12 before he wipes the board.
Or minus 12 over 3 turns to kill your opponent.
Yeah.
Which ain't gonna happen.
Somebody's going to find... Yeah. It just seems too susceptible to removal, too susceptible
much.
to
There's way too much out there. Yeah.
It just seems like a very hard to protect Planeswalker in that type of deck, especially at 7 mana. Because if you want enough creatures out to protect him, I like him alongside of Gonti. That's who I like him alongside of.
I can see him alongside
I like him alongside of Hand Disruption.
Because you're exiling all your opponent's craft anyway.
Yeah. So you're using their own creatures against them, kind of like a active treason kind of deck, which I think that's cool. But then again, the 7 mana. The 7 mana is the one that pops back up again because you're still going to get turn 4 Ulamog, and then you're still going to be sitting there
if he was, to be honest, if he was 5 mana, he'd be fine.
Well, if he was 5 mana, he'd be broken.
No, I don't think he'd be broken.
He'd be hard.
He'd be hard. He wouldn't be broken. He'd be like as long as there's a card in Standard that says destroy target Planeswalker, he's not broken.
Right. Agreed.
There
again, Pithing Needle or Hero's Downfall would be good.
Yeah.
But you've got to figure if they were going to reprint Pithing Needle, they should have did it in Kaladesh.
Yeah.
With all the fucking artifacts.
Yeah, you're right. Well, they kind of did. We got a Masterpiece Pithing Needle. Yeah, I know. You use it in draft.
All right, and then the last card we're going to barely talk about is this stupid piece of shit called Samet the Untested.
Samet the Tested.
The Tested, I'm sorry.
Who cares? Nobody's going to test him, so...
Yeah, he's going to be untested in plays.
+1, target creature gains double strike until the end of turn. Up to 1, target creature gains double strike until the end of turn.
Yay.
-2, deals 2 damage divided as you choose. Wait, really? It's -2 is Fort Bolt.
Yeah, so you pay 4 mana for Fort Bolt.
Yeah. Maybe 4 mana for Fort Bolt twice, except for the fact that it's just going to die. And then -7, meaning you've given something double strike 3 times. Search your library for up to 2 creatures and or Planeswalker cards, put them onto the battlefield, shuffle your library. Oh, that's really cool, except for the fact that, Samet dies real fast before that happens. You don't... It's red and green.
The last ability is playable in Modern with the Planeswalker deck where you go and get Samet, and then you go get another copy of Samet, and then you ult him with doubling seasons and all that stuff.
I think Nahiri is a lot better.
He'll see play, I think, in Modern.
I don't know. I really don't see him being a thing out of the fact that the only good ability on this card is the ultimate. And you're never going to get to it. It's not... I mean... If it goes off, it's great, but I just don't ever see it going off. I never see you getting to 7 loyalty.
It's not going to be worth a fucking Standard.
It's not going to be... I don't think it's going to be worth a fucking anything. Because if you have to get doubling season and a whole bunch of other shit out to get him up there, and then, if the +1 did something slightly control-y, if the +1 was just 2 damage to something, it'd be... way better.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give a creature double strike until if it was double strike until the end of your next turn. Or until the end of your opponent's turn.
Until the end of your opponent's turn, yeah. That'd be good.
That would be fine, because then you have at least it has a way to defend itself. I don't understand why it has such an aggro low ability with an extremely good win the game ultimate.
Who knows? Hopefully, maybe this got misleaked, and it's exactly the same card.
That would be amazing if it was that would be amazing if all 3 of these, in my opinion. I mean, Bontu's, whatever.
Now, what if the Bontu thing is a cycle? What if we have a cycle of these, like something really undercosted, and all your lands don't untap next turn.
That'd be an interesting cycle, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I could see, like, a 2 mana, 6 damage, your lands don't untap next turn kind of stuff, you know?
I mean, even 2 mana 4 damage would be pretty good in red.
Your land at instant speed.
And instant speed, yeah.
Yeah.
Target creature or player?
Yep.
Yep.
Bop. Pretty
good.
Yeah. Oh, my land's on tap next turn. I really need to kill this right now. Whatever. Kill it. Untap. Land's on untap. Swing 12.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that would be cool.
I would like to see your lands don't untap next turn as a cycle. I think that'd be pretty good.
1-drop white creatures you control get +1/+1 counters. Each creature you control gets
+1/+1 until it'd probably be like
counters. Because it'd be a 1-drop white, but no, it couldn't be 1. You'd have to make it something more.
It'd probably be like +1/+0 and flying until the end of turn.
Like a mighty leap.
Yeah, something like that. Like something like not overpowered, but easy to cast.
Something first strikey or something would probably be
+1/+0 and first strike.
Or vigilance.
+1/+0 and first strike for 1 seems about balanced, and then your lands don't untap next turn, but you don't care because you spent 1.
You spent 1. All right, so now that we went through those, we're going to do a little bit of talking about some of the people who are in the Magic community on YouTube.
Some people that have helped us out, and, we have 2 people. We have people who have helped us out and people that we just follow and listen to because they've always given a lot of really good advice, and everything that they've said we've generally agreed with, and it's just been a lot of...
and I feel like you guys would probably agree with us here about these 2 people. First of all, I really want to give a shout out to Saffron Olive and what he's doing in the MTG Goldfish. I think the channel is really cool. Like, you guys are really going all in. And he always makes really cool decks. The last one I checked out was the black-white exile deck where you're using Lost Legacy and you're using Descend Upon the Sinful, and then you're just exiling everything. And Lost Legacy, you played 4 of Lost Legacy. You know, if you already know what your opponent's playing, you can Lost Legacy them, as much as you want. Okay, but it also gives you a chance not to, if you don't have anything Lost Legacy on their side of the board, you can Lost Legacy your own Eternal Scourge. Is that how you pronounce that?
Eternal Scourge.
Scourge. Yeah, and Eternal Scourge, if you don't know that card, it's a... go ahead, Steven, explain.
3-drop, colorless creature, Eldrazi Horror. It's a 3/3 that says you may cast Eternal Scourge from exile, and whenever Eternal Scourge becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, exile Eternal Scourge.
So, seems pretty good.
So the whole idea is if you open your hand with a Lost Legacy on turn 3, cast Lost Legacy on yourself, searching and exiling Eternal Scourge.
All the copies of Eternal Scourge.
All 4 copies of Eternal Scourge. And then you got 4 copies sitting in exile that you can just pull whenever you need it, or over a few turns, you've got 12 power on board.
Yeah.
If they have to... now, they die to combat damage and do end up in the graveyard. However, if they have to bolt it or kill it in any way, it goes right back to exile and you just cast it again. Mm-hmm. And if worse comes to worse, let's say they successfully kill 2 or 3 of your Eternal Scourges and they're in your graveyard, you can Lost Legacy yourself again just to hit them back out of the graveyard.
Yeah.
And they go right back into exile. Yep. Everything works fine. The deck doesn't even turn. It just kind of sits there and keeps the board clean. And
exactly. That's all it does. Is it exiles everything. You will be able to get the Delirium effect off of.
You go to Delirium and end up with
upon the Sinful, and you'll get your angels out.
Yeah, start beating with a 4/4 flyer, and the deck literally just slow rolls for a long time, but
it dirtles so hard.
But eventually punches your face in. And that's the thing. Anyway, so here's one Saffron Olive. Another guy we always like to talk about is Dev.
Dev from SBMTG. Dev, you do a great job over there, buddy, and we really appreciate it. I know you like coming home to our hometown of Savannah, Georgia. I know you like coming to our hometown of Savannah, Georgia, and checking us out. and we really appreciate everything you've done for the Magic community on YouTube, and you're greatly appreciated, and your deck techs are awesome, man. And all your takes on everything are pretty cool, and we love deck techs, and we love weird shit to play around with. You know, I like weird shit more than I do the stuff that wins most of the time. Yeah. Homebrews are great, and you always allow everybody to try to get an insight on what else is out there instead of just the normal everyday thing you see. You know, winning tournaments all the time, yeah. and you just get tired of seeing. You know, and he actually built stuff that's good against those strategies that, you know, people don't ever see coming. Yeah. So he's good at that.
Oh, and just a quick shout out to Wedge, who's always amazing to watch. Great videos, very informative. Love everything that he does. I wish you would do more worse cards in Magic. Those are always great.
He hates doing that.
Yeah, he does. That's what's so great about it. So as for what we got coming up in the future, I've been talking about just podcast a little bit. So none of our pretty mugs up in your face. You're just gonna hear us talking. So you can take us with you while you're driving or doing whatever. So we have
a couple other skits and stuff we're gonna do that you'll see that's kind of weird.
And we're gonna try to start live streaming deck techs whenever we're sitting around like, hey, let's build a deck. We're gonna actually start trying to set up the camera, go live on Facebook, and
yeah, we're gonna go live on Facebook and do some Facebook live streams.
So that way you guys
like us on Facebook,
like us on Facebook, share us so other people know about us.
Yep.
But as we're doing the deck techs, we want you guys to come in and comment, help us build these decks, let us know something we might be missing, something we could do better.
We'll give you a shout out if you add something to the deck, or if we see something that you like, and we'll add it to the deck, and then we'll let you know how we did with it when we go to the tournament. As we usually go on Tuesdays, and like to play out Savannah Lion Games.
Savannah Lion Games.
Shout out.
Puller, Georgia. Great place. Jeremy does an excellent job of running a store. All his tournaments are amazing. I wish I could go to more of them. He has PPTQs whenever he can. And, you know, if you're in the area, we definitely recommend stopping by his shop and saying hi.
Definitely. So like us on Facebook, and follow us on YouTube, subscribe, comment, give thumbs up, all that good stuff.
You know how to do this.
And hit the bell so you get notifications of our upcoming videos.
Yep.
And for Two Dudes MTG, I'm Dustin.
I'm Steven.
Have a good night.